Offense, you need it to win in Colorado. The Guardians have it. Do they have enough? The bullpen doesn't seem to have it. We got that covered. MVP talk, moves, promotions, rehabs, all on today's Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show today. If you want to key up the game to where we are, and McMahon just tied it up. So that's where it is. But first, let's take a moment and say thank you to eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. All the parts you need at the prices you want is easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit only available to U.S. customers. Hello, as I put a note in the show, introductions are here to stay, and I'm one of your co-hosts on the show, Jeff Ellis. I was a national writer at Scout and 24/7 for MLB Draft and the Prospects, as well as your fifth favorite writer at every Cleveland baseball blog over the last decade. Currently also have some work done at Prospects Live, as well as my own blog, MLB Draft Blogspot, MLBDraftNow.blogspot.
I'm Justin Latta, one of your co-hosts of Locked On Guardians, your daily Cleveland Guardians podcast. We're going to dive into all the goings-on your Cleveland Guardians every day. The majors, the minors, and of course, the draft. So if you need your fix of daily Cleveland Guardians discussion, you have come to the right place. We are glad to have you. I've been covering Cleveland's minor league system since 2007, the former editor of Guardians Baseball Insider, currently my own newsletter, Next Year in Cleveland, as well as the News Herald, the Morning Journal in the Cleveland suburbs, and also do some prospect scouting and writing at Prospects Live. Thank you for all making Locked On Guardians your first listen today, everywhere you get podcasts. Shout out to the everydayers. We do cover your team every day. Make sure you're subscribing, hitting the bell on YouTube, and comment to be part of the everyday crew. All right, Jeff, the offense is here in Colorado. They've done a great job. One of those days, the bullpen is springing a leak. It's just Colorado is one of those places that, you know, you talk about Boston, you have to score a lot of runs. There's certain ballparks. Just a bad time for the bullpen to spring a leak. It's currently, like you said, it's currently 7-7. The offense has done its job. Someone in this bullpen has to come out and get some outs, and they're going to need some more runs to finish this one off.
It's, just unfortunately the way of Colorado, but it's also like the bullpen wasn't going to stay historically great all year. Like, correct. It's one of those things. The data showed like they weren't being incredibly lucky, but it's just going to be hard to maintain the pace they were on. I mean, even after the rough outing today for Sandlin, he's still got a 2.88 ERA. Herron's at a 1.21. Guys are so good all year. There's going to be blips, and ERA traditionally, if a guy gives up 2 runs, it balloons. So it speaks to just how reliable these pitchers have been throughout. McKenzie, he grinded through it. It was an interesting performance. We'll dive into that a bit more. But yeah, it's a little bit disappointing because the offense keeps taking the lead, and then right now the pitching just keeps giving it back up. So we will see how it goes from here. But we're hoping that they are going to turn this one around. It's been a lot of positives, even though they have blown, throughout the game. 7, not all at once, a 7-run advantage, but they put up a 7 spot and have slowly been given ground every time.
Yeah, every time they come back and take the lead, they come back and blow it. McKenzie did that. Stanley just didn't have control tonight, and Tim Herron just got hit around, unfortunately. And Cade Smith came in to stop the bleeding. I think the good thing about the rest of this game is we're getting here, and it's the top of the 7th here, it's going to be top 7 as we're still recording this. Is that the back half of Cleveland's bullpen is pretty good. I think you can feel good that if Sandlin and Herron had off nights. Cade Smith, Hunter Gaddis, Emmanuel Clase, Sam Henches, probably all not going to have bad nights. And Colorado historically has one of the worst bullpens in baseball right now. So you could feel pretty good. And that's, famous last words to predict that. But it's 7-7. I like the Guardians bullpen the rest of this game than I do the Rockies. So check back with me on Twitter on Wednesday morning to see if I eat my words. Jeff, I'm going to ask you to eat your words. You said, coming into the year, this is not, I'm not trying to, make you feel bad, but you said coming in the year, you thought that Jose Ramirez's days of finishing on the MVP ballot, we didn't say MVP winning. We said on the MVP ballot, we're over.
Top 5. Yeah, I thought they were.
What do you think now?
I mean, I think top 5 is still going to be hard from the starting point. I mean, I know people are going to be like RBIs, but like, honestly, like, I can't say nobody. No, I get it. I know he's doing other things too. Don't get me wrong, but like, that's the starting point for everyone. Is I'm seeing people talk about RBIs. It's great. He leads the league in a stat category that means nothing. But just getting myself in trouble. But
let's have a little more nuance to RBIs being nothing. There's 2 ways to look at it. It's not predictive. It matters in the moment. It matters as a look of what happened previously. It doesn't predict anything going forward. All it does is means you did your job when runners were on base.
And it means the guys got on base.
They did their job to be there. Someone got on base in front of you.
It's often less about what you're doing and more about the guys in front of you are doing. That's why it's not a valuable stat. It's more valuable to say, hey, guys in front are doing their job. Listen, we're getting in the wrong weeds on this. It's interesting to look at his data, and his slugging percentage is 60 points higher than a year ago. His on base is 40% lower. But again, it's early, and he's hit this hot streak, and hopefully it's going to balance out. He was 10th in MVP voting a year ago. It is a hard hill to climb right now in the American League. And that's where, and here's the thing, like, the end of the day, he's in Cleveland. He's going to get hosed in voting. Like, in terms of performance, it's one of those things. We've seen it over the past few years where guys get a bit undervalued here relative to the rest of the league. Like we talked about, even like Rookie of the Year, and the value of bringing up Manzardo early is he'd have to head and shoulders outperform anyone to win the award. Like, that bias is still there.
I never precluded. Okay, that bias never precluded Corey Kluber from winning the Cy Young. It didn't preclude.
But he was head and shoulders ahead. That's my point. Those guys had to like really distance themselves.
He's still okay. And Jose, I'm not saying Jose is going to win MVP. I don't believe that. But can he get back to a top 5 finish? I certainly think so. And he's never been precluded from that because he's in Cleveland as far as top 5 finishes go.
I know, but when you look at it, it's like when you look at like Aaron Judge, Kyle Tucker, Gunnar Henderson, that's hard. Bobby Witt.
Bobby Witt. Those are guys who are going to the top 5. I think Jose right now is at least in the discussion. So in the month of May, Jose now has 11 home runs. And we're not talking about just RBI, he's talking about everything. Jose has 11 home runs in the month of May now. He is 8th. This is all before Tuesday's game, before he had the home run and the double. So it's going to go up. A 183 WRC plus, which is good for 8th in baseball in the month of May, going into Tuesday's game. And he's 6th in WAR and 3rd in the AL in WAR, behind Judge, Tucker, and Witt in the month of May. Obviously, the month of April was really bad, but
this
still shows you Jose has the goods to do this. I still think obviously he's not going to keep this up all year. This is a ridiculous stretch, but this is top 5 MVP Jose, and he's doing this without Stephen Kwan getting on in front of him all month of May. Josh Naylor has given you 6 home runs this month, but not much else. It's been Jose and David Fry the entire month of May, basically, and you're winning games, and Jose is putting up one of his best stretches of his career. Really quickly, can I tell you the best months of Jose's career?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, so just to give like the other line on this, which is like, I do think he's back. I do think that top 5. He's currently 12th in the American League in runs created plus, behind Jordan Westberg. Like it's a murderer's row of hitters this year. I mean, we talked about how good Ty O'Neill was at the start. He's down to 17th best in the American League. It is a very good year offensively. It's just, that's what makes it hard. Is he having a season that I didn't think would happen? Yes. Like, is he having one of those 6 to 8 WAR win seasons?
A miserable April.
What's going to come down to is I'm very curious to see the defensive metrics. That could be what pushes him out of that 6 range, because right now those are not as positive. But now I will be quiet.
Yeah. All right. So for Jose's career, I'm gonna take out anything that's a low sample size. So it's going to remove 2020. It's going to remove 10 plate appearances in September in 2019 when he had the hamate injury, even though he had those 2 home runs in the game against the White Sox when he came back. So 2017, September, October, Jose Ramirez, 101 plate appearances, 243 WRC plus. That's absurd for a month. Absolutely absurd. We said we're going to exclude 2020, so that takes out his 242 and 240 in September and July of 2020. 2022, March and April, 218. Fantastic start that year. May of 2018, 213 WRC plus. July of 2018, 201 WRC plus. Just absolutely absurd production in those months. And then there's May of 2024, 183, and only going to go up after Tuesday's double homer and a walk here in the 7th inning. So that is his first. I'm sorry, that is his number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. That is his 5th best month by WRC plus of his career. And we thought this is a guy who may not be top 5 MVP finisher Jose Ramirez. He is certainly in the discussion again if he keeps trending this way. And again, like I said, no Quan. Josh has given you 7 home runs now. He hit a home run in this game, which is great. 7 home runs, but his other at-bats have been pretty awful. And then David Fry. That's pretty much been your entire offense the month of May, outside of some good stuff from Tyler Freeman, and that's really about Manzardo towards the end of the month.
It is interesting because Naylor is still 29th in the league and rated runs created plus, which kind of shows you as Jose and yeah, it's like those two have Freaky Friday it. We talked about this at one point in time with was it Ahmed and someone else where that happened, but it's like they completely switch. By the way, updated stats for today. He's now 10th, Westerberg 11th. But it's also, I know we have to go to break, but it's interesting. Like New York has 2 guys in the top 15. Kansas City has 2 guys in the top 10. Baltimore has 2 guys in the top 15, I believe. Yes. Toronto's got 2 guys in the top 15 outside of Cleveland and Minnesota and Oakland. Every other team represented has 2 guys up there.
All right. Well, Jose is back. Let us know what you think. If you think Jose is back in the MVP discussion and how you feel about RBIs. You're allowed to feel how you want to feel about RBIs as long as they win games. That's all that matters. If he doesn't drive them in, they don't win games, then who cares? All right. We had a lot of promotions and rehab news in the Guardian system on Tuesday. We'll get to all that as more in-game reactions throughout today's Lockdown Guardians.
Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy for your car to be the MVP, which may or may not be Jose. Top 10 for him, your car number 1, and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers.
Check out the Guardians on your SiriusXM app. They're going to wrap up this series in Colorado, 8:40 Eastern time. You can catch all the action on your SiriusXM app by just searching Guardians. All right, 2 on for David Fry as we're running through this in the 7th inning after Jose and Naylor walk back to back. Good to see Josh work a walk because that's the home run in this game. I had the walk. Yeah, and Bo, we'll talk about Bo Naylor a little bit too because I think he's starting to show some positive signs. I put over on Twitter that it looks like there's been a bit of a stance change with him. He's a little less stiff in the back leg, and he's hit the ball hard the last couple of days, and he didn't chase out of the zone today at the sack fly. I think that's all very good. David Fry just got under that one. All right, so latest moves on Tuesday. We saw a flurry of them throughout the minor leagues and the majors, so we can break a couple of them down. So Eli Morgan back for the Guardians. Xzavion Curry back down to AAA. I'm sure he's not super thrilled about that, but I
surprised by this. Were you at all? Just to interrupt you, just because it sounded like they were trying to build up Morgan to maybe give him another depth guy, and then they're like, nope, because he has options. They could have kept him down there.
Yeah, I guess that part is surprising because they've been back and forth on whether or not they're going to do this. Like when his rehab started, they were going to make an option for him to stretch him out and be more of a I don't say a starter, but a long guy, which he has been in the past, but he never threw more than 40 pitches. So I don't think he's really stretched out at all. The move, you're a little bit ahead of me. I see you're raising your hand. The move itself doesn't surprise me because the Guardians have
home run.
David Fry, let's go. The Guardians have Thursday off this week. They have Monday off next week, and then they have 3 Mondays off in the month of June. So they won't really need a fifth starter again until that Miami series after they come home and play Kansas City. So they can go with the 4-man rotation right now. All good. So they can go with the 4-man rotation for the time being and use Morgan in the bullpen. And that's off a righty, too. That was quite a blast. So Guardians bringing the big sticks to Colorado, which was at the top of the show. You really need the big sticks in Colorado. So not a surprising move in that they can use Morgan out of the bullpen. And
100%.
I don't know. Curry's got to figure out a third pitch, I think, and more consistency with his control, because I just don't. Here's the thing. I love Xzavion Curry again.
The command left him in the last game.
Yeah, he took pictures with us at our wedding. What a great dude. Still love that guy. But just after the third or fourth inning, it seems to lose effectiveness. And I don't know if it's control, endurance. And let's also say Colorado, it's hard to pitch if you're not used to it either, because that endurance affects everybody else in the altitude.
It's interesting because the curveball was a good pitch in college, and now he's mostly fastball
slider's better. Yeah, I thought the curveball was his best pitch in the minors too. I agree.
Yeah, it was his best pitch.
He never had a changeup.
No.
Yeah, so I think he needs to rediscover the curveball again, because the curveball was an effective weapon for him against lefties, and the slider and the fastball. And there's Manzardo with a double. Look at this. Manzardo
almost had a 3-double game.
Yes, he's had a very good game hitting the ball. Okay, he's have to save a second, but yeah, he's hit the ball really hard. This offense, we're talking about how the month of May, it was mostly
adjusting to velocity.
Yes. So the month of May, we said it was pretty much Jose Ramirez and David Fry. Well, tonight it's Jose, it's Josh, it's David, it's Manzardo. The middle of the order looking great now. And Bo. And it is Colorado. Yeah. But you still got to hit these teams. We saw this team lay an egg offensively against the White Sox, right? So just because they're bad teams doesn't mean, you shouldn't hit them. This is
100%.
This is what you want to see. So yeah, we'll see what they do over the next couple of days with the bullpen. Morgan's going to be up for now, and hopefully Curry can work on some things in AAA. He's still valuable depth to come up and be that 6th starter, a guy who can give you 5 and fly. I still think he can. He just needs to tighten some things up. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah.
So
if not, he could be another bullpen weapon. It's him and Gaddis kind of were a pair coming up. There's always the chance for that.
He did serve a really good role out of the bullpen last year. I think that's why he was a little bit frustrated. He was in AAA too, is that he kind of earned his spot in the bullpen this year, and it just did not work out. So I understand where he's coming from there, but you've got to go down there with the mentality that, I deserve to be up there and I'm going to make them see it. And I don't know if Morgan really did that in AAA. I think if anything, it's just to give him a fresh arm, honestly, at this point. So Speaking of fresh arms, finally, maybe some good news on the horizon for the rotation and depth. So Gavin Williams is going to start today, Wednesday, when you're listening to this, for the Columbus Clippers. I had some people asking me on Twitter whether or not how long he'd be ready for. So as we said, it looks like the Guardians won't need a 5th starter until they go to Miami in the second week of June after the Royals series. I would imagine that'll be Carrasco. I think they're expecting him to be back by mid-June. I don't know if that's necessarily mid-June or not, but they are expecting him to be back sometime in mid-June. Maybe it'll be Curry by then. I don't know. I don't think it'll be Williams. This Wednesday is going to be his first rehab start, and we don't know how many pitches he was built up to in his sim games in Arizona. So Wednesday will give us a good test of how many pitches he's thrown and how long he's going to need. I would expect at least 3 starts. I would say 3 starts for Williams before he's back. So that puts him somewhere by the end of the month. Maybe the third week of the month, last week of the month.
Yeah, it's like you said, they're probably going to need. Someone on Twitter asked, what are they going to do when Carrasco and Williams and Quan come back?
Just get there. Just get there.
I'm like, yeah, you got to get there, and it's going to resolve itself as we see on the show. But I do think we maybe see one more Carrasco, one more Curry, maybe 2, and
something like that, depending on Carrasco's health. Yeah. I think they're going to have to use somebody else in that spot when they need the 5th starter next. I can't imagine it's going to be Williams that soon. I would say probably at least 3. Maybe you get away with 2, but I think they're also going to be super careful with him, and I would imagine that means 3. And then, thank God, Joey Cantillo is coming back from that oblique issue. He's going to pitch in a rehab game down in Arizona in the complex league, so it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a slower return for him. I'd imagine
how positive they were about him in the spring.
Yeah, Stephen Vogt went out of his way twice, at least twice, if not more, this spring to talk about how he was competing, how he was attacking every outing, every bullpen. They loved it. My only fear with him is like, this is another good at bat for Bo. I fear with him that, why are you smiling? Come on, don't do that to me.
No,
I
it's
fear with
not a good
Cantillo.
at bat.
Oh, it was for the first 2 pitches he was laying off. But
Yeah.
the only thing I fear with guys coming back at midseason is maybe more hitters. Well, okay, whatever. With hitters, sometimes you have a tendency to see guys try to make up for lost time where they're trying to make up
Do
for a season's half a season's at bats or innings or whatever. And they're just trying to play catch up all year. And that's my worry with Cantillo. This is a guy who's already had control issues last year. He had home run issues in Columbus, which, who doesn't have home run issues in Columbus? Let's be honest. Even Logan Allen did. He never did previously. Cantillo never did previously. Will Dion never did previously. Now he does. So I just worry about maybe a little bit less so with Williams, but with Cantillo trying to play catch up because he thought he was going to get a chance in the major leagues this year, and he probably still will. But I just worry about him trying to make all of his season up at once and just trying to, without getting his feet under him.
Well, it's 100% valid. We see that with too many guys for it to be something that we roll over or pass. But hopefully, we need the depth. Hopefully, he is ready to go soon. And
it's good news.
View it as an opportunity.
Yeah, health is better than no health. Absolutely. So much better news on the horizon for the Guardians pitching health. All right. Got more to talk about with moves and promotions coming up, more in-game reactions, and we want to talk about what we're watching for in the College World Series. Regionals come up for this weekend. We'll talk about some things to be aware of and when you're watching these games, if you are watching these games, and what to think. So stick around for that. But first, our good friends over at FanDuel. It is winner take all time in the NBA and the NHL. FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, if you're a new customers, you're going to get 150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. So just go to the app and pick out a bet, even if it's low return on the bet. Something easy you think is going to pay out. If you're a new customer, put $5 on that bet, cash in. Even if you win a couple bucks, you win that bet, you're going to get 150 bucks. You're going to use it on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. The NBA Finals are coming. The Stanley Cup Finals are going on right now. The other day when I was looking at the FanDuel, you could no longer bet on the Guardians to win 80-plus games. You had to do it 90 or less. So that's what a pace the Guardians are on right now. It's good. So you have to go in there, and I like the odds. I got to be honest at this point. The Guardians only got to play about 500 ball to win 90 games. So I kind of like those odds at this point.
You want to listen to us? As one of our listeners told us, I gave him
some money.
A huge bet on the Edmonton Oilers.
Edmonton. There you go. Look at that. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Hopefully, one of those wins for the Guardians is coming on Wednesday as well as Tuesday. And you can check out what happens on the Wednesday action in the finale against the Rockies by tuning in to the Guardians on your SiriusXM app. Just search Guardians. So the one name, Jeff, we didn't talk about before the break was Andrew Walters. He is going to Columbus. That's exciting. I don't really know how else to spin it. It's honestly, it's sooner than I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't think it'd be this soon.
Listen, when they drafted him, like, he's the guy who should be the first player into the big leagues from this draft class, and then Anaheim's like, hold my adult beverage, and instead,
how about Anaheim just doesn't count anymore?
So instead, it was not him, but I mean, he's done everything you can ask. He's been utterly dominant. He has one of the best K rates, one of the best walk rates. He's got a 70 grade pitch. Maybe, I don't put an 80 on anything. That's kind of like my view. It's very hard to put an 80 grade on anything, but I mean, he's got command. He's got control. Listen, I instantly regret my shadow draft from last year where I did not take him already, but he is what he is, and he's a reliever, but he could be a really good reliever. He might be the second best reliever in the Cleveland Guardians organization right now.
That's saying a lot because Cade Smith has been fantastic this year. You've had, I think, if you're just looking at numbers, I don't know, is Cade Smith the second best reliever in this bullpen? I mean, I know Tim Herron's ERA was microscopic before the outing on Tuesday, but
one can make a case. It's definitely one of those situations where it's like Gaddis has had his time where he's good. It's probably Cade Smith just in terms of like
his control has taken a step forward
unhittability
this year.
Yeah,
his stuff is unbelievable. I saw a graphic from Brooksgate, I think it is on Twitter, who put up a list of best stuff. No, it was TJ Stats. I'm sorry. It was TJ Stats. Thomas Nestor,
yes,
one
the
of
best.
our best stuff plus by bullpen. The Guardians were number 1. The Royals were like, I think bottom 5. Maybe they were 27. They were definitely towards the bottom. So if you're looking for a little separation, the Royals did lose on Tuesday. So no matter what the Guardians do, they don't lose a game to the Royals in terms of being in first place. But that's the one place. We haven't really had a discussion yet about how real the Royals are in the threat there. But
I feel like they're pretty real, and I got that one wrong too.
I did as well. We'll probably discuss that in a future episode. Probably not today, but they were bottom 5 in stuff plus for relievers. That's one area of separation the Guardians have there. They're neck and neck runs scored, by the way, although the Guardians are ahead because they've scored 10 runs so far in this game on Tuesday. The Royals scored 2 in their loss, so the Guardians will spread things out a little in terms of runs. But what did I say before the show, Jeff? The Guardians were 3rd in baseball in runs scored, and the Royals were 4th. And it was separated by a run coming to Tuesday. That's utterly stunning. And I saw someone write today about the Guardians' offense is essentially buoyed by the fact that they're hitting like crazy with runners in scoring position. It's unsustainable.
Historically, it is.
Historically, it is. But you want to know what? They can't take these wins away from you. You're already there. So all you got to do is
you've already got them on the board.
You got to play 500 the rest of the way. I think they can do that. But again, as we've said in the past with the offense, like April was the Josh Naylor show. May has been pretty much Jose and David Fry, although you could say April was also David Fry and Stephen Kwan in April, I should say. May has been Fry and Jose and nobody else. Hopefully in June, it looks like Josh Naylor is feeling better. I think Bo Naylor's coming on lately. It's baby steps for Bo Naylor. Manzardo's coming on. Kwan's coming back.
Kwan is back.
We both agree this offense could get better. You've got nothing at shortstop except walks. Right field's been pretty iffy. Like we keep saying this, but we think the offense, they have enough where you can expect some guys to have a good month while some guys regress, and that's going to balance things out. But Andrew Walters, we were talking about before, I agree. He could be the second best reliever. I would not be surprised if we're talking
Smith
here.
Just dominated that 8th inning. Speaking of Smith,
he's been their second best reliever.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When I was talking to Guardians director of player development, Rob Cerfolio was saying they've talked to Stephen Vogt about how he would use Andrew Walters in the majors, and they wanted to mimic that usage in the minors. They wanted to make sure whatever he was doing in the minors was something he'd be asked doing in the majors, whether that's come on to with
in other words, he's coming up this year.
Yes. I think you can safely say he's coming up this year at some point. And then look, they've got spots in the roster. Peter Strzelecki still occupies a spot. Zach Kent, I think, is still on the 40-man roster. They've got fodder to play with. Darren McKagan, I think, is on the 40-man roster.
He is,
yeah. You've got 40-man spots to play with. He's coming up. The only question is going to be: are you bringing him up for Barlow or what? I don't know if you trade him, or are you bringing him up for Pedro Avila? Because let's take Avila has been fine in his role. Like you need that.
You need someone in that role is the problem. Like if you bring up Walters, it can't be for Avila because you need someone who can just go out and eat a game for you.
Mop up. But think about this though. You've got Nick Sandlin as the first guy out of your bullpen, right? He's the guy who can come in the 6th or 5th inning with runners on and get you a ground ball double play. Henches can match up against righties and lefties, and he's weirdly been better against righties this year and last year. You got Cade Smith, you got Herron as a second lefty, and then you can go to Gaddis, you can go to Walters, all those guys to get to Class A. This bullpen's already one of the best in baseball. They're going to add Walters at some point this year, and it's going to be unbelievable. So he is getting prepared. He is not going to be the closer when he comes up, so they have not had him closing in the minors. He is coming on with runners on. He's coming in for an inning and a half. The only thing he really hasn't done is pitch back-to-back days. So I wonder if that is something they will do in Columbus.
It takes them a while to do that with relievers. Like Alaman is another guy. It took a while for that.
Well,
too.
that's,
and he's hurt.
I think that was more of a knock on Alaman versus not trying to. I think with Walters, it's been intentionally not doing it. We didn't have time to get to this today because we're running out of time on today's show, but Stephen Kwan, I would expect him to be back sometime this homestand. He played Tuesday night in Columbus for a couple of innings. He didn't play the whole game. He will have to at some point, but I think he'll be fine to come back on this homestand. So the question will be, where is Tyler Freeman hitting the batting order? He's done a good job as a leadoff hitter. We can get to that in tomorrow's show.
I'm going to throw a tease. I'm going to throw a tease for us to argue tomorrow because I have a crazy idea. Keep him where he is. Put Kwan 2 and Jose 3.
Ooh, all right. We'll have a good debate about that tomorrow.
We'll have a good debate tomorrow. That's my idea.
Yeah. And we can expand upon this discussion as well. Yeah. We want to talk about the draft a little bit and then the College World Series and regionals coming up this weekend. So I was texting with a friend who happens to be a scout the other day, and I was talking about a hitter who hit a home run, and it was a great at bat. He had a home run and won his team the game. And he was like, that's a great hit. That's a great at bat. It's a great home run. I'm really happy for that dude. Love that dude. And he said, but, in the end, it doesn't really do much difference than what he's done over the last, 2 seasons, which, 2022 or 2023 and 2024. And that's the thing to remember about conference tournaments in baseball, college baseball, regional, super regionals, College World Series. Yes, like you have your Cade Hortons who really pitched well in the playoffs.
Because he hadn't pitched much that year.
Yes. So he needed the reps. He needed scouts to see him. So are there guys that can improve their draft stock? Yes, that can happen. There are guys who can knock it down a little too, because you are facing better competition. But let's also remember this better competition they're facing is going to be a small sample. These are 3-game series, okay? Regionals are double elimination. Super regionals through the World Series are best of 3. So when you've got Hagen Smith versus Travis Bazzana again or something like that, remember, these are going to be 1, 2, 3-game samples. So you can sit there and say, well, this guy didn't do good against this competition, or he did or didn't. And that might, tilt things very minimally in some scouts' eyes. But it doesn't.
We know it doesn't because this team drafted Chase DeLauder in the first round. And Chase DeLauder
I'm not just saying Cleveland. I'm saying
no, I know, but I'm saying in general. But just like even if you want to take it from a micro view, like Chase DeLauder faced 2 good pitchers before he got hurt in his junior year. It was Parker Messick and Bryce Hubbard, and he got destroyed.
Drafted both.
Like there's no other way around it. I mean, both of them lit him up. It was ugly, and then he got hurt, and that's essentially what he ended his season on. So we know Cleveland in particular, they're not going to go with the micro. They're not going to go with like 1 or 2 at bats. They're going to look at everything they've seen, and we know they weigh the cape sometimes more important than the junior season, which is they might more than ever in a season with stats like this.
Yeah. So remember, it's the whole body of work, and just as I told you, a scout said that, like, it doesn't change what these guys have done over the last year or 2. It's going to be the whole body of work. You might look at these 3-game samples and draw some conclusions about what a guy did or didn't do, but trust me, teams are weighing that very minimally. It is about the body of work. So let us know if you're going to be watching the College World Series and regionals. I know I will be. I'll be glued to it. I've been glued to it all year. I'm super excited. Let us know. Let us know if there's any questions about that you want us to answer and to talk about. We'll certainly do that this week as the regionals start this weekend. I'm super excited for that. But again, it's a small sample, so enjoy it. But don't draw any sleeping conclusions because Major League teams will not. Yeah, enjoy them. We're going to enjoy them too, but teams will not enjoy it because it's not going to change what has happened over the last 2 years.
Thank you all for joining us. Remember to rate and review, download daily. That really helps. It's really important to get every single view every single day. Thank you to all of our everydayers, and go Guardians, go.